I think it's an MGM grand, by the way, for services. I think it's an MGM for services. I think if you want to watch, if you guys want to watch it, if you want to watch it with your boyfriend. I think MGM Grand has it because I pay for tons of services and I may or may not have unlocked my Fire Stick. I may or may not have jailbroken it.
Yeah, no, my.
When I have some other apps, so.
Come and jailbreak ours, so.
Yeah, it's not that hard. There's like a book and stuff on the internet, so.
Yeah.
Or your dad knew somebody. So between the apps on the Fire Stick and all the multiple services I pay for, I rarely have to pay for something. If I have to pay for it, I pay for it, but
Yeah,
usually I can find it.
it's like something very, very small that my dad pays every month, like for whoever set it up for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like nothing.
Who's the second?
Huh? I could do it. Well,
So
Fire Stick,
just gotta walk yourself through it. It's just instructions and stuff.
do it on ChatGPT.
Yeah. I had one from my friend from a cable company. And I broke up with my ex. She took it. I was like, what the hell's wrong with you? Send that shit back to me. She gave it back like months later, but that was kind of.
When she got over it.
Yeah.
It's
Like my friend's husband who sent it to me.
Oh, sure.
The cable company. You know how much of a pain in the ass it was to reprogram the Fire Stick and then teach us how to jailbreak it? Which I did in the interim. I can do that too. I mean, you gotta just change it to the order developer and then. Yeah. Usually between that South American app that I pay $10 a month for and cinema. Generally I can get whatever
On the Fire Stick,
on the Fire Stick.
yeah.
Generally
for it now?
$10 a month. Maybe we should sidebar.
Okay, I sent my new one. My finished one.
Can I send
these later? I don't know.
Yeah. So it's 7:30. Should we set like a time to talk about it, guys? Should we say 7:40, 7:45? What makes sense for everybody? Start to talk about it. I mean, we can talk now. I just wanted to give you guys a chance to like come up with your questions, etc. Give me some feedback. What do you need? Pleasure.
Be ready, but I'm not gonna speak for everybody else.
Same thing. Five? Should take five. We'll talk about it in five.
Okay.
Does that make sense for everybody? If it doesn't, speak up, please. We'll talk about it in the five, and then we'll still take our normal break, and then we'll either continue to talk about it and or we'll talk about motivation and emotion, depending on what y'all brought up and stuff. So everybody figured out what echolalia was, right?
Yeah.
Echolalia.
Right.
That's one of the questions in the worksheet.
Oh, and the repetition of it.
Yeah, repetition.
When you said it, it sounded like just pure gibberish.
Echolalia.
Like, what?
Echolalia.
Which it sounds like what it is, echo, because. it's
Yeah.
Repeating, but
Echo.
it's not an actual, it's just the person actually repeating it instead of it.
Yeah,
echoing.
perfect. Yeah, I'm getting your emails, guys.
If you go to your email and you do it in the box, you can go back into it and it'll just be there. There you're. off. Okay.
Do we consider that a break, or are we taking a break after?
I was gonna take a break after. Do you want to do that, guys? You want to take a break right at 7:35 and come back at 7:45? Okay, let's take 10, 11 minutes, come back at 7:45, and we'll discuss Rain Man when you guys come back. With the questions that are here and your other, and this. So if you need time to come up with stuff, do that, because we're kind of on time, and I'll see you guys at 7:45. Yeah.
The worksheet or? Yeah, because you do something. That's where you going. Oh. You want to hear about the operations with some point or after a break, whatever works time study, but yeah. This, I think for a lot of services, you were saying. Yeah, we should, I would like to about that.
It's a video.
What?
It's a video I've been seeing.
Yeah.
I'll share with everybody. Okay, because then it'll mess it up.
Maybe text it instead of emailing or email it, it's fine, but text might be better.
Okay.
Just. Can we get you? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, just text me.
I wasn't able to like bring it up on the thing, so. We went through here. And then this is what I was talking about. Like through those and all that, you know, we're sitting like this, as you can. And it's also.
What is it?
So you like the movie?
Hmm?
You like the movie?
Yeah,
Good.
that was a good
I
one.
think it's, they try to make it as real to life as possible.
And Rayman is not autistic, by the way. He's just a really good actor.
Oh, no, I was gonna say, I've seen him in other movies.
Yeah, he's very
He's
famous
good
and he's just,
actor.
he's Dustin Hoffman. He's super famous and recently I watched it in a different psych class. One of my students was like, is he autistic? I'm like, no, he's just a good actor.
No, yeah, I was gonna say, I've seen him in other
Yeah.
movies. I knew he wasn't, but
Yeah.
he's
But
did
he-
a really good job of.
He
like,
plays the
acting it
part.
out. Yeah.
So
What'd you say?
played in a movie as a
Have I watched
child.
it?
It's like,
Oh.
Is he?
Gilbert, something.
Oh,
Gilbert.
was he doing Gilbert Grape?
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't
That's
seen
a
that.
good movie.
Great.
John Penn is really good at playing someone like that.
He's not in the 40-year-old virgin?
That's the guy from Anchorman.
You look like
They're totally different actors.
Don't worry, girl, I don't know any actors by their actual name, I just
I didn't
know them by their character
yeah.
names.
That was me.
I don't ever really know the actors by their actual name.
Yeah,
Watch
Tom,
their-
Tom Cruise also plays Ethan Hunt in all the Mission Impossibles like the last 20 years, 20 or 30 years.
I'll call them by their actual character name.
Okay.
Or like whatever their name was. in the
Which
movie.
should be their birth name, right?
Yeah. Their names in the movie is their names to me.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm gonna bring mine up on him,
Okay, perfect.
just so I'm not on my phone.
If you guys tell me, I just don't want people like mindlessly scrolling on TikTok or watching waterfalls. I literally saw that in a class. I'm like, that's not okay. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I could see your phone. Like, that was not okay. Most unusual thing though was the person on Zoom that decided to take a bong hit and not have their microphone on. There's only one noise that sounds like that. It happened on Zoom. I was lecturing at COD.
Yes.
Yeah. And I was like, if we can not smoke weed while I'm talking, I would really appreciate it, guys. And then I just kept right on doing the lecture. Or I said, if we could not take bong hits, I wove exactly what they did right to my lecture. And I just kept moving. And the person was like, shit, mute. I'm sure they were like freaking out.
Wait until the break.
I am so
Please.
bad. That is funny.
I was like, who does? And it was like 20 of them. So I don't know if I knew who it was. But
Oh, you said it was 20 people?
like there was just like a bunch of people like on Zoom without the cameras on. But I heard it, and then I was in the middle of saying something. And I just said, "We cannot take bong hits while I'm talking. I really appreciate it." And then I just kept right on going. The Rain Man?
Yeah.
Just type in the word Rain Man, all one word under files, because I just looked it up.
Don't do just do Rain Man.
Just
by
just
itself,
Rain Man by itself altogether.
and it should come up.
Really? Are you in files?
Yeah.
No, get rid of the space. The space is messing you up.
All together.
We're supposed to be in that, right?
Yes.
Just making sure. I apologize in advance because I kind of write like a toddler, but it's like readable.
Okay.
I don't use complete sentences sometimes.
That's a psych course. It has to make sense to me.
It does. It makes sense.
Okay.
It's just like, it's not like perfect college literature, right?
Yeah, I do the same sometime when I'm.
Okay. It's psych and not English, so that I can let that be okay, but you guys really should be typing at that level. It is college, but
College English class yet. I'm like
okay.
below average. State.
All right, that's fair. Because at the end when I go through and I bulk apply the 1,000 points, I'm going through and reading all your guys' stuff one by one. So it's got to make sense. If I'm confused, if no, it takes a couple hours at the end, and that way you guys get points for coming to class and doing that. But then I don't get beat up on grading all term. I just do it one by one. I just pull up emails one by one. I cross-check attendance and I go, okay. Were they here the whole time? Do they do any alternate assignments if they were out? Do we have all the assignments? Then if you've done everything and you haven't had anything garbage, you get 1,000 points. If something's unclear or it's vague, then there's less points. Or if you start to miss assignments, then it's less points. So basically, someone wanted to do Connect Alternate, they could, but they would not earn as high of a score.
Gotcha.
And that's like that bulk out, which is a pretty substantial amount, which is about 60 or 70 points a week. So like you're getting something for like engaging in the discussions, coming to class. And one time wouldn't do a lot to your grades. Several and alternative assignments would do something substantial to your grade, but
Look like 50/50.
what?
Well, not 50/50, like the class at the end.
So 1,000 points for the midterm, 1,000 points for the final, 1,000 points for the in-class assignments, and all the Connect stuff. So if you don't do those, that would be a large amount of points. The exams and the class activities, what we do are super important, but they're not all your points. And the way I built it with Connect, there's some overlap. So I try to lecture on the most interesting stuff or explore the stuff that you guys like the most in depth. So that way, like, because if I need to condense a lecture or cover something more in depth, we can do that, but we don't miss stuff that way.
For me personally, I suck at the quizzes.
Oh. I don't think there's a time limit on those.
There's a 30-minute time limit.
Oh.
Those I think.
On the
but, like,
post
it's
test,
not-
it's a 30-minute thing, like, if you try to go in and out of it,
Oh.
it'll like pause it where you got out, but still, like, or if you try to like open a second screen to try to look it up or whatever, you
Oh.
can't, cause it takes too long, and then you run
Yeah.
out of time to answer the questions. Only the post test is like 30 minutes,
Yeah,
for 10
the-
questions.
Are you
But-
unable to open them in separate tabs?
You are, but I'm saying like,
It
like,
takes two.
during the
during
time-
the times, yeah.
the time you're taking to look it up, you gotta hurry up and like finish it, if not, you're gonna not finish the questions.
Yeah, I didn't have any problem switching between the book and the tab.
I didn't have a problem with that, I'm saying like,
It's just
you
that
take
it's
up
time-
time because
yeah,
it's
it's
a time
time.
thing, so if you don't get through all the questions in time, then you might not answer them because it'll close out.
Have you been using the book's search function?
That's what I used for the, when I
Dude,
did
why
the
did I
midterm.
make that?
Yeah, do that. That's
Yeah,
what
if you wanna
I'm
look
saying.
at-
Better on
You
my-
guys can look, well, there's still a lot of points left in the class. We're only about halfway through, or a little more than halfway approximately.
Yeah, 'cause I got like a 67 in here. I feel like that's a really bad score.
Is that your average?
Huh?
Is that the average for the class? Want to get more points, but
I missed a couple times because my kids were sick one time. One time I just really didn't want to come.
okay.
I think I missed like 3 or 4 times.
I've been recording stuff, so I usually say if you're willing to watch the recording and like answer the critical thinking questions, that might count. So like, oh, attendance not great. I gotcha.
Yeah, my attendance kind of sucks. But I'm trying to do better.
Okay. I'm just trying to be super fair with you guys. If you work hard, there's a very good chance you can all do well in the class. And there's a lot of points in Connect. So what do you got next?
Informative speech, but it's a group. Yeah.
I can barely-
We're doing it on. your conferences.
You gotta hear that.
Yeah. So, and then the next one. is
17%.
persuasive. Since I'm gonna be doing- Why, just this one, to them. Make it a- look at the back. I'm so confused because Really? Well, we did. last week.
Like mine says like
But
670
we
out of
had-
10%. Like that's all it's.
I think
This is
by,
67.
we ran out of time the last time, so that's why we're like this week. We started Wednesday,
I heard you.
so you guys.
That would be
probably
the-
wanna finish, yeah.
Mine didn't. Yeah.
But it's still, try to give you guys big enough balance of that.
Well, she asked,
The less
and it's
special assignments.
I'm just a naturally like really bad test taker. It's like every time I like start a test, it's like everything that I know. kind of
oh, like, yeah. And during the speech, it goes like this. Well, everybody else was going.
I'd be knocking out when this.
As long as it's legible, I think it works.
Are you guys ready? Everybody ready to talk about the movie?
Sure.
I think we went a little bit over on time. So what do you think? Is Charlie narcissistic? Why or why not?
Yes.
I think he
Yeah,
did
in the
like
beginning, and then, you know, but not at the end.
beginning, in the middle, not at the end, and then we have some rationales as to why.
Taking advantage.
No, didn't care about him at all, but at the middle, he started, but he kind of just used him at, like, just to win some money, which is not right, and then at the end, he kind of started had some brotherly connection, which was really sweet.
Yeah, he was being like selfish when it.
Yeah,
came to the
he
money.
was very selfish, because he
Which is the narcissistic behavior.
still gave him some background, and then all that.
What did you want to add?
I don't think that he
Hmm.
was a narcissist. I think he just had like some tendencies. I think maybe the way that he was brought up in life made him into how he acted, you know? But I don't think all in all, like, he obviously started to show care towards his brother and like even his girlfriend. He started being nicer to towards the end and the middle. And yeah, he started showing more empathy, like you could see him like find joy in like his brother like looking at him, for instance, like that brought him a lot of joy and stuff like that. So yeah, I just think he had narcissistic tendencies. I don't think he was a narcissist per se, but I feel like he just kind of had like that, like, I'm rich, like daddy has a lot of money kind of attitude.
That his strained relationship with his father actually led to his narcissistic behavior. Which I think is a lot of what you were saying. So I would say that he was narcissistic,
Okay.
but it was learned. You know, in order to feel valued, he needed to value himself. He needed to own things. You know, actually went into that as one of my quotes is he says multiple times throughout the movie, I deserve. You know, I deserve that car because I passed my test or whatever the heck it was.
You got it, the report card with almost all A's, yeah.
I deserve my father's money. You know, what he never says is how he earned it. You know, because I don't even think that he believes he earned it. He doesn't just show you.
That's narcissistic, yeah. Anybody else on this one?
So I said that I do believe that he's a narcissist because he shows characteristics of entitlement and being better than others. He also has a hard time being aware of others' feelings and puts his needs first. And that's what I think.
That's good. You else want to add or delete from that question? What are 3 to 5 symptoms of narcissism that you found, hopefully in the DSM?
I put arrogance, feeling superior to yourself, taking advantage of others to help yourself, and wanting nothing but the best for yourself in excessive ways.
Well, entitlement, no sympathy for others, and taking advantage.
That's narcissism, yeah.
I put of grand, aggrandizing. Yeah,
Self-aggrandizing, like
Yeah.
grandiose ideas.
Huh?
Yeah, self-aggrandizing.
yeah, and then, that they show deficits in empathy and in understanding the feelings of others, and they view themselves as entitled and better than others.
Anybody else on narcissism? Yeah, what do you got? What do you got? Self-centered, yeah. Yeah. That's absolutely right. And sometimes maybe he's histrionic. Something to think about. Histrionic personality disorder is not the same as narcissism, but there's some overlap between the two.
Yeah, I
Oh.
was looking at that because of the little like chart that I was looking at from the narcissist part.
Yeah.
Well, because it was talking about personality disorder and they
Yeah.
all fall under like that.
Yeah. So he might have been histrionic. What are 3 to 5 symptoms of autism?
Or, he could, like, to talk for himself, like, yeah, have, Charlie do it for him, so, and challenges of communication kept stuttering through half of the sentence, and the claims involved in repetitive behavior, like repeating other things, and intense focus on the subject.
Fixation, that's one of them. Fixation. Noise sensitivity, yeah.
Basically be the pinwheel.
It would basically be the pinwheel. I try to help you guys get there, but yeah, it would basically be the pinwheel.
And like noise in the bar made him panic a little.
So the pinwheel,
Pinwheel. Yeah, if you listen stuff off the pinwheel.
aggression, poor eye contact.
Remember he kept looking like up the
Yeah.
whole movie, like and down, but he would never really looked at anybody. Yeah. Yeah.
I also put stimming. Like
Stim-
stimming,
What do you mean?
Stimulation.
Oh, stimulation.
like overstimulation, like you start like fidgeting,
Yeah.
yeah.
Fix and fidgets is one of them too. Yeah.
Yeah, I know the word stimming for some reason, that's like what a lot of people, I guess that's like a newer term that people say.
Okay.
But like, I
Overstimulation. Is there more? Julia?
I put a need for routine,
Yeah.
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 Well, it should have been the pinwheel, but it's with that.
I didn't want to put the pinwheel because I didn't want to like make it just like everything, but
Yeah. Well, the goal is that like you would see some stuff in the movie that would be like, oh, this is mirroring stuff from the pinwheel or anything you see in the DSM-5, which there is a link in the announcements that shows you all the criteria of autism besides what I put. But basically the pinwheel is.
I just put some symptoms of autism, or some children may not develop the ability to speak, and adults may have persistent problems in communication, and that they have repetitive behaviors in childhood, and that include like hand flapping and head banging, and restrictive interests might involve an enthusiastic or obsessive interest in a topic.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Do you have something else, Emma? Or just thinking of okay. What about examples of echolalia? It's like
There
a
was
ton. There's a lot of them, right? Do we have some examples?
saying I don't.
Who's on first?
I couldn't remember, but whenever Raymond heard the radio and he started repeating-
Bam, 91.x. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm an excellent driver. He basically say that through was basically all of getting.
Well, yeah, but echolalia is like usually like you hear something and they like repeat. Well, it's the repeating. Yeah.
He still be
Yeah.
I just put that he kept repeating that he needed to go home after he got taken from his home, and that he repeated himself over and over again.
Yeah.
It was time for the game show at a certain time.
Yeah.
That he was gonna, and that he repeats multiple times that he has to, the lights out by 11 p.m.
Yeah. Those are all echolalia. Any other examples? Burn. Yeah. That's good. Yeah, that's good. It's really,
Wasn't that the guy that was watching him before?
Yep.
Or like helping?
yeah. Yeah.
And he started calling his brother that,
Yeah.
the main man, but he didn't say a name.
Well, he spelled out Charlie at the end.
yeah.
Well, I'm saying when he initially said it, but didn't say Vern, he just said my main man, and that was it, because he didn't say his name until like after that.
Yeah. You see that okay? And the one else? Treatment options for narcissism.
I put different types of therapies. That one, like, I didn't really know what to put because I didn't want to look it up, but I know like therapy can help with things like that.
There's a
Cognitive, behavioral.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what kind of therapy. I didn't
Like-
want to look it up.
family or therapy, medication, and long-term self-awareness.
Yeah.
Big bell.
Narcissism is hard to treat, but if the person's self-aware, cognitive behavioral therapy would be like educating them to change the cognition, change the behavior. What else do you have, Lyric?
Home and putting up to now, like a therapy.
No, we're talking about for
Charlie.
not
Sure.
Raymond.
We're gonna talk about Raymond in a second for the autism treatments.
I just put different kinds of therapy or counseling that go over self-reflecting and having the person change their perspective.
You'd have to have them change their perspective to get through narcissism. It's where someone's like a self-aware narcissist,
Well, I'm saying like
Yeah.
after all the
Yeah,
therapy,
yeah.
when they become, yeah.
self-aware, yeah. Do you guys have anything in the back? What about treatments for autism?
I put therapy, medications, a set schedule for them to follow, and early intervention.
It's good.
Speech and language therapy and occupational therapy.
Yeah.
I put applied behavior analysis, and special education and education.
A lot of work, yeah. ABA is newer, but yeah, that's a plug behavior analysis and it does work. But I don't think they had that in the 80s. But that's still correct today though, yeah. Good.
I just put some treatments for autism or early intervention, which can be important to a child's capacity for language and independence. And applied behavior analysis is the most widely used method of treating autism.
Yeah. What are some examples of social challenges that he had?
Social cues, touching,
Yeah,
Limited to small talk or emotional expression, difficult understanding emotions and relationships, and trouble with eye contact and personal space because, and repeating routines and resistance to change.
yeah. I agree.
I just put some examples of social challenges for Raymond are that he stays within a strict limited environment that he's used to and is comfortable in, and he sticks with a consistent routine. And because he has sensory sensitivity, once taken out of that environment, he acts out of character.
Yeah. It's good. Well, special abilities.
I bet you can memorize things super well, and you can do math instantaneously.
Memorize stuff super well, math instantaneously, yep. What else? Yeah.
And you can keep track of like, well, because the toothpicks is not like the cards and
Yeah.
still, and then with the cards though, he did
Yeah.
the counting and knew how many and like which ones of the cards.
We're coming up.
So he knew both.
Strong pattern recognition.
Yeah.
Recall routine schedules, because we keep repeating his bedtime and lunchtime and all that, and time for his date. You literally remembered all of it, and
Yeah.
you remember when back in the beginning, he remembered the girl's tag on it, the.
Oh, Sally Dibbs, yeah, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
When that lady was creeped out.
I think that like the first thing in the beginning.
yeah. He says, read the phone book, he got away to got taken, I think, yeah.
I just put that it was his memory when it came to him reading anything. He retained information when he needed to provide it. And that he was able to provide it when asked about it, and he was also very good at counting and numbers such as math.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I do remember dates pretty good too.
He did.
Or any information he would read.
Left. Like that he
Yeah,
was
so
such
he
a
went forward.
Yeah.
Like you like my birthday.
Autism is considered neurocognitive divergent now, it's our new vernacular. In your opinion, what are some benefits for a neurocognitive divergent person? From Rain Man, or what you read about autism so far?
Skills, creativity, focusing on tasks, being proficient in their interests, and being good at things like math and memory.
Yeah.
And.
Viewing the world differently? Sure.
I just put some benefits are, that they're very smart in a way we would never be able to understand, and being able to retain information the way they do is beneficial to them and even more helpful to us due to the fact that we can learn from each other. With early intervention, I believe a person who is neurocognitive divergent can become far more successful than your average person.
That's good. Now, we might have talked about these a little bit already, but are there any other examples of the autism pinwheel in the movie? Do we get two examples of those? All right. What about this? If you have any critical thinking questions, you can ask Socratically to the class, and or a favorite movie quote and why.
My favorite movie quote was when I was little and got scared, the Rain Man would sing to me. And I picked that quote because I thought it was really sweet when he found out that his brother was Rain Man. I thought that was really cute.
Yeah.
I liked when Charlie said that he liked him as his older brother, and then they touched head. Like, it
Yeah.
was just a really like another sweet moment because before he didn't like physical touch, he was that outburst.
Yeah.
But at that time he was overstimulated with the lawyer asking him all those questions. And then Charlie came close and it was just really sweet.
Yeah.
My favorite is when when he didn't care about him, and then when the fire alarm happened, he immediately ran and really banged the
Oh, with the broom. Yeah. Like,
feeling stuff for him at Beauty and Mill, and then suddenly he just changed, and I thought it was really sweet and brotherly.
yeah. So like the change in the character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed reading towards the beginning of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell us more. Why?
Well, I have it all written down. If you'd like me to read it out.
Sure. Well, yeah, that'd be.
So these are the last words that his dad left him. He says, "And I remember too the day you left home, so full of bitterness and grandiose ideas, so full of yourself. And being raised without a mother, a hardness of your heart is understandable as well. Your refusal to even pretend you loved or respected me. All of these I forgive, but your failure to write, to telephone, to re-enter my life in any meaningful way has left me without a son. I wish you all I ever wanted for you. I wish you the best. I hereby bequeath my son Charles Babbitt a certain Buick convertible, a very car that unfortunately brought our and also outright title to my proudest winning hybrid rose bushes. May they remind him of the value of excellence and the possibility of perfection." Verse says, "I'm sorry for anything." Never apologizes, never acknowledges his own fault that he chased his son away. He left him in a prison cell, terrified for 2 days.
Yeah.
You know, like, how was he supposed to respond?
That's an excellent question. Yeah.
But I felt like that summed up Charlie really, really well. Like you
For his
really
character.
understand his mindset simply because of the fact that it's like, okay, this is where he's coming from. So that's why I really.
It's an excellent rationale. Yeah. What's a movie quote or a critical thinking question you wanted to ask us all?
My critical thinking is, in what way does Charlie's relationship with Raymond start to grow, and what does this show us about empathy, selfishness, and personal growth?
You guys think?
What was the question?
Want to say it again?
No, that's fine.
Why don't you repeat it again?
It was, in what way does Charlie's relationship with Raymond start to grow, and what does this show us about empathy, selfishness, and personal growth?
I think it starts to grow even like towards the beginning of him like taking him out of the home because he was like so adamant about sticking to Raymond's schedule and stuff. Like he was really caring about like, oh, like my brother has to watch the show at this time, he has to go to bed at this time. He didn't have to do all that. Like he could have just been cold-hearted from the get-go, and he wasn't. I thought that was pretty cool.
What's the answer? Anybody else? That one. Other critical thinking questions? Should we talk about motivation? These are kind of quiet. All right.
Sounds like we need it. Just kidding.
So. Great job. So just make sure you guys email me like tonight.
This is all of them. Oh, you did it exactly how I was. I saw that I skipped one, so they didn't make that one too.
All right, this is motivation. This is, you put this under motivation. Type in the word motivation, it'll come right up. We'll skip the learning objectives, so you don't start snoozing. So we have motivation, internal and external motivation. Intrinsic is our fancy word. Extrinsic is our other fancy word. Internal, you like the work. I absolutely enjoy teaching you guys. It's very fulfilling. I learn from my students. Intrinsic motivation. Extrinsic, social support, standard of living, pay, outside things, external motivation. Those are the two types. Now, if external motivation or extrinsic motivation and internal motivation or intrinsic motivation had a cage fight, who would win and why? What do you think? They go head to head, intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation, who would win and why? Is one more valuable than the other? Are they equal? Why? What's more important?
Intrinsic's probably better for your overall habits. I'd say people are naturally intrinsic probably. Most people tend to be individuals for the most part.
Yeah, we tend to value intrinsic motivation. But then we can ask another question Socratically. Does money buy happiness? Well, think about it for a second.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like shallowly. It buys experiences, right?
By freedom.
It buys freedom. If you can travel and go on vacations and there's some joy, you can pay all your bills. I'm not saying it buys interpersonal relationships. That would be shallow, okay? But there are some things that money does buy. If we look up a world happiness map, the wealthiest nations have the highest reported levels of happiness. Yeah, I can buy you a pet. You're onto something. I work with a guy who has a PhD in math. He's a part-time at my day job. And I was thinking about getting the Klee, which is basically a miniature husky, but they're like small, but they're like a couple $1,000s, okay, instead of like adopting from a shelter. And he was like, but if you're gonna have an animal for 10 or 15 years, it's worth the investment. To your point, like it can buy you. So this is tough, right? Because I don't know if you can go with one or the other. I would agree with you, Seuss, like intrinsic motivation, probably, right?
I would like to repeat what I originally said when I asked that question, which is, I don't think that money buys happiness. I think that a lack of money costs you.
Okay.
Also,
Can you elaborate a little bit? Do you have like an example to back that up?
well, I mean, broke can't get in. And
Goes back
then,
to like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if you don't have.
Yeah.
You know, psychological or self needs, which are like the two most base ones.
Yeah.
pretty much exactly that, you know, like, you don't need a lot of money to make yourself happy. Look at I think it was in the psychology book, it listed that when they asked the guys with the beards, they raise barns constantly. Yeah, they asked a bunch of Amish women, you know, how happy and satisfied they were in their lives, and they reported very high, even though they're treated like crap and don't have it.
But some of that's culture. Some of that's culture, because culture is what you're brought up and you believe in. For us in the majority culture, we're like, this is just bullshit, right? Being treated like that. But for their culture, they like, this makes sense. But I'm not negating your point. Like, I think it's a very valid point. It's just culturally they were raised to think that that was okay. I don't see how it is at all, but that was the culture that I was raised in. What do you guys think? Can money, performance be improved with pay incentives?
I think so. Like I personally, if I had a job, I feel like I would do better at a 18 an hour job than a 15 an hour job. I would want to come a little bit more than
Okay.
usual.
Okay. You thinking about it, Kurt?
Yeah. I think that it comes down to, if you're stuck working a job that doesn't make you enough to leave time for happiness, then again, it's kind of like you have like a fine line, and it's like, yeah, once you hit this point, like you're not getting more happy once you get there. But one of some of these people with it's called dragon. Essentially, I made $50,000. This year I want to make 51,000. Or so in the situations where you see this, it's probably more like, my company made $30 billion last year. Now we need to make 31 billion this year because otherwise I'm failed. Or I need to make more money than my dad made, before we turn the company into, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because it's just never enough. There's no upper limit.
Well, that's greed, and it says that we're all potentially susceptible to greed, according to like all. We don't want to be. None of us want to be susceptible to greed. But there was a case of that teacher that won the lottery, and he was like, "No, I'm good. I'm gonna keep teaching." He won like a semester or two, and he bounced because of greed. We all want to keep making more. Something to think about. We hope we don't want to be susceptible to that, but all of the science says that we're still susceptible to that. So I have some research, brief video. You would want to look up the puzzle of motivation in the files. Is one of the lead researchers here. Puzzle, just type in the puzzle of motivation. It's tied to this video. And then you can email it if you have some thoughts, so we can certainly share those. So are we able to find the puzzle of motivation in the files?
What I found.
Puzzle of motivation. Just type in like the puzzle of motivation. There's questions tied to it. Did everybody find that? Okay, or I can show you on the screen. Or just type in the word the puzzle. You find it? Yes?
Yes. I found it.
Okay. All right, here's some research on some of the questions I was just asking you guys by one of the researchers. Here we go.
Make a confession at the outset here. A little over 20 years ago, I did something that I regret, something that I'm not particularly proud of, something that in many ways I wish no one would ever know, but that here I feel kind of obliged to reveal. In the late 1980s, in a moment of youthful indiscretion, I went to law school. Now, in America, law is a professional degree. You get your university degree, then you go on to law school. And when I got to law school, I didn't do very well. Put it mildly, I didn't do very well. I, in fact, graduated in the part of my law school class that made the top 90% possible.
Oh, come on. Because it's free. Hang on. Sorry, guys.
Thank you. I never practiced law a day in my life. I pretty much wasn't allowed to. But today, against my better judgment, against the advice of my own wife, I want to try to dust off some of those legal skills, what's left of those legal skills. I don't want to tell you a story. I want to make a case. I want to make a hard-headed, evidence-based, dare I say lawyerly case for rethinking how we run our businesses. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, take a look at this. This is called the candle problem. Some of you might have seen this before. It's created in 1945 by a psychologist named Carl Dunker. Carl Dunker has created this experiment that's used in a whole variety of experiments in behavioral science. And here's how it works. Suppose I'm the experimenter. I bring you into a room. I give you a candle, some thumbtacks, and some matches. And I say to you, your job is to attach the candle to the wall so the wax doesn't drip onto the table. Now, what would you do? Many people begin trying to thumbtack the candle to the wall. Doesn't work. Some people, and I saw somebody kind of make the motion over here, some people have a great idea where they light the match, melt the side of the candle, try to adhere it to the wall. It's an awesome idea. Doesn't work. And eventually, after 5 or 10 minutes, most people figure out the solution, which you can see here. The key is to overcome what's called functional fixedness. You look at that box and you see it only as a receptacle for the tacks, but it can also have this other function as a platform for the candle problem. Now, I want to tell you about an experiment using the candle problem done by a scientist named Sam Glucksberg, who's now at Princeton University in the US. This shows the power of incentives. Here's what he did. He gathered his participants and he said, I'm going to time you how quickly you can solve this problem. To one group, he said, I'm going to time you to establish norms, averages for how long it typically takes someone to solve this sort of problem. To the second group, he offered rewards. He said, if you're in the top 25% of the fastest times, you get $5. If you're the fastest of everyone we're testing here today, you get $20. Okay, now this is several years ago, adjusted for inflation. It's a decent sum of money for a few minutes of work. It's a nice motivator. Question, how much faster did this group solve the problem? Answer, it took them on average 3.5 minutes longer. 3.5 minutes longer. Now, this makes no sense, right? I mean, I'm an American. I believe in free markets. That's not how it's supposed to work, right? If you want people to perform better, you reward them, right? Bonuses, commissions, their own reality show, incentivize them. That's how business works. But that's not happening here. You've got an incentive designed to sharpen thinking and accelerate creativity, and it does just the opposite. It dulls thinking and blocks creativity. And what's interesting about this experiment is that it's not an aberration. This has been replicated over and over and over again for nearly 40 years. These contingent motivators. If you do this, then you get that. Work in some circumstances, but for a lot of tasks, they actually either don't work or often they do harm. This is one of the most robust findings in social science and also one of the most ignored. I spent the last couple of years looking at the science of human motivation, particularly the dynamics of extrinsic motivators and intrinsic motivators. And I'm telling you, it's not even close. If you look at the science, there is a mismatch between what science knows and what business does. And what's alarming here is that our business operating system, think of the set of assumptions and protocols beneath our businesses, how we motivate people, how we apply our human resources. It's built entirely around these extrinsic motivators, around carrots and sticks. That's actually fine for many kinds of 20th century tasks. But for 21st century tasks, that mechanistic reward and punishment approach doesn't work, often doesn't work, and often does harm. Let me show you what I mean. So Glucksberg did another experiment similar to this, where he presented the problem in a slightly different way, like this up here. Okay? Attach the candle to the wall so the wax doesn't drip onto the table. Same deal. You were timing for norms. You were incentivizing. What happened this time? This time, the incentivized group kicked the other group's butt. Why? Because when the tacks are out of the box, it's pretty easy, isn't it? If-then rewards work really well for those sorts of tasks, where there's a simple set of rules and a clear destination to go to. Rewards by their very nature narrow our focus, concentrate the mind. That's why they work in so many cases. And so for tasks like this, of narrowed focus where you just see the goal right there, zoom straight ahead to it, they work really well. But for the real candle problem, you don't want to be looking like this. The solution's not over here. The solution's on the periphery. You want to be looking around. That reward actually narrows our focus and restricts our possibility. Let me tell you why this is so important. In Western Europe, in many parts of Asia, in North America, in Australia, white-collar workers are doing less of this kind of work and more of this kind of work. That routine, rule-based, left-brain work, certain kinds of accounting, certain kinds of financial analysis, certain kinds of computer programming has become fairly easy to outsource, fairly easy to automate. Software can do it faster. Low-cost providers around the world can do it cheaper. So what really matters are the more right-brain, creative, conceptual kinds of abilities. Think about your own work. Think about your own work. Are the problems that you face, or even the problems we've been talking about here, are those kinds of problems that they have a clear set of rules and a single solution? No. The rules are mystifying. The solution, if it exists at all, is surprising and non-obvious. Everybody in this room is dealing with their own version of the candle problem. And for candle problems of any kind, in any field, those if-then rewards, the things around which we built so many of our businesses, don't work. Now, I mean, it makes me crazy. And this is not, here's the thing, this is not a feeling. Okay, I'm a lawyer, I don't believe in feelings. This is not a philosophy. I'm an American, I don't believe in philosophy. This is a fact. Or as we say in my hometown of Washington, D.C., fact. Let me give you an example of what I mean. Let me marshal the evidence here, because I'm not telling you a story, I'm making a case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Some evidence. Dan O'Reilly, one of the great economists of our time, he and 3 colleagues did a study with some MIT students. They gave these MIT students a bunch of games that involved creativity and motor skills and concentration. And they offered them for performance 3 levels of rewards. Small reward, medium reward, large reward. Okay? Do really well, you get the large reward on down. What happened? As long as the task involved only mechanical skill, bonuses worked as they would be expected. The higher the pay, the better the performance. Okay? But once the task called for even rudimentary cognitive skill, a larger reward led to poorer performance. Then they said, okay, let's see if there's any cultural bias here. Let's go to Madurai, India and test this. Reward standard of living is lower. In Madurai, a reward that's modest by North American standards is more meaningful there. Same deal. A bunch of games, 3 levels of rewards. What happened? People offered the medium level of rewards, did no better than people offered the small rewards. But this time, people offered the highest rewards. They did worst of all.
This totally legit influencer loves electric vehicles. This IRL test drive will change your mind.
Sorry, it's free, guys.
The influencer has become the influence. Toyota easy, one drive can change your mind.
In 8 of the 9 tasks we examined across 3 experiments, higher incentives led to worse performance. Is this some kind of touchy-feely socialist conspiracy going on here? No, these are economists from MIT, from Carnegie Mellon, from the University of Chicago. And do you know who sponsored this research? The Federal Reserve Bank of the United States. That's the American experience. Let's go across the pond to the London School of Economics. LSE, London School of Economics, alma mater of 11 Nobel laureates in economics. Training ground for great economic thinkers like George Soros and Friedrich Hayek and Mick Jagger. Last month, Economists at LSE looked at 51 studies of pay-for-performance plans inside of companies. Here's what the economists there said. We find that financial incentives can result in a negative impact on overall performance. There's a mismatch between what science knows and what business does. And what worries me as we stand here in the rubble of the economic collapse is that too many organizations are making their decisions, their policies about talent and people based on assumptions that are outdated, unexamined, and rooted more in folklore than in science. And if we really want to get out of this economic mess, and if we really want high performance on those definitional tasks of the 21st century, the solution is not to do more of the wrong things, to entice people with a sweeter carrot or threaten them with a sharper stick. We need a whole new approach. The good news about all this is that the scientists who've been studying motivation have given us this new approach. It's an approach built much more around intrinsic motivation, around the desire to do things because they matter, because we like it, because they're interesting, because they're part of something important. And to my mind, that new operating system for our businesses revolves around three elements: autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Autonomy, the urge to direct our own lives. Mastery, the desire to get better and better at something that matters. And purpose, the yearning to do what we do in the service of something larger than ourselves. These are the building blocks of an entirely new operating system for our businesses. I want to talk today only about autonomy. In the 20th century, we came up with this idea of management. Management did not emanate from nature. Okay, management is it's like, it's not a tree, it's a television set. Okay, somebody invented it. And it doesn't mean it's going to work forever. Management is great. Traditional notions of management are great if you want compliance. But if you want engagement, self-direction works better. Let me give you some examples of some kind of radical notions of self-direction. And what this means, you don't see a lot of it, but you see the first stirrings of something really interesting going on. Because what it means is, it means paying people adequately and fairly, absolutely. Getting the issue of money off the table, and then giving people lots of autonomy. Let me give you some examples. How many of you have heard of the company Atlassian? It looks like less than half. Atlassian is an Australian software company, and they do something incredibly cool. A few times a year, they tell their engineers, go for the next 24 hours and work on anything you want. As long as it's not part of your regular job, work on anything you want. So the engineers use this time to come up with a cool patch of code, come up with an elegant package. Then they present all of the stuff that they've developed to their teammates, to the rest of the company, in this wild and woolly all-hands meeting at the end of the day. And then, being Australians, everybody has a beer. They call them FedEx days. Why? Because you have to deliver something overnight. It's not bad. It's a huge trademark violation, but it's pretty clever. That one day of intense autonomy has produced a whole array of software fixes that might never have existed. And it's worked so well that Atlassian has taken it to the next level with 20% time, done famously at Google, where engineers can spend 20% of their time working on anything they want. They have autonomy over their time, their tasks, their team, their technique. Okay, radical amounts of autonomy. And at Google, as many of you know, about half of the new products in a typical year are birthed during that 20% time. Things like Gmail, Orkut, Google News. Let me give you an even more radical example of it. Something called the results-only work environment, the ROW, created by two American consultants in place at about a dozen companies around North America. In a row, people don't have schedules. They show up when they want. They don't have to be in the office at a certain time or any time. They just have to get their work done. How they do it, when they do it, where they do it, is totally up to them. Meetings in these kinds of environments are optional. What happens? Almost across the board, productivity goes up, worker engagement goes up, worker satisfaction goes up, turnover goes down. Autonomy, mastery, and purpose. These are the building blocks of a new way of doing things. Now, some of you might look at this and say, that sounds nice, but it's utopian. And I say, nope. I have proof. In the mid-1990s, Microsoft started an encyclopedia called Encarta. They deployed all the right incentives. all the right incentives. They pay professionals to write and edit thousands of articles. Well-compensated managers oversaw the whole thing to make sure it came in on budget and on time. A few years later, another encyclopedia got started. Different model, right? Do it for fun. No one gets paid a cent or a euro or a yen. Do it because you like to do it. Now, if you had, just 10 years ago, if you had gone to an economist anywhere and said, hey, I got these two different models for creating an encyclopedia. If they went head to head, who would win? 10 years ago, you could not have found a single sober economist anywhere on planet Earth who would have predicted the Wikipedia model. This is the titanic battle between these two approaches. This is the Ali Frazier of motivation, right? This is the thriller in Manila, all right? Intrinsic motivators versus extrinsic motivators. Autonomy, mastery, and purpose versus carrots and sticks. And who wins? Intrinsic motivation, autonomy, mastery, and purpose in a knockout. Let me wrap up. There's a mismatch between what science knows and what business does. And here's what science knows. One, those 20th century rewards, those motivators we think are the natural part of business, do work, but only in a surprisingly narrow band of circumstances. Two, those if-then rewards often destroy creativity. Three, the secret to high performance isn't rewards and punishments, but that unseen intrinsic drive, the drive to do things for their own sake, the drive to do things because they matter. And here's the best part. Here's the best part. We already know this. The science confirms what we know in our hearts. So if we repair this mismatch between what science knows and what business does, if we bring our motivation, notions of motivation into the 21st century, if we get past this lazy, dangerous ideology of carrots and sticks, we can strengthen our businesses, we can solve a lot of the scandal problems, and maybe we can change the world. I rest my case.
Any thoughts, comments, etc.? What was that?
I don't think people at the very top actually care about performance so much as they care about how little you can spend.
Oh, that's good. How little they can spend on labor. On labor because labor is expensive.
If you can get 10 people to work for $1 and do a terrible job, that's worth more than one person who works for $10. Because ultimately you get more
Production.
better, but more.
Nice little point, Kurt. Any thoughts or any thoughts on the row? So I'll tell you what, I want the row. Results only work environment.
Oh, results only work.
Because we can talk about like contextual performance, which is like following the rules. Past performance is actually getting it done. I literally had a conversation with like my boss's boss, like, do I really have to be here for 8 hours? Like, if I'm efficient, I'm getting this stuff done. Privately, she was like, no. She probably wouldn't say that publicly. But another way we think about motivation would be instincts, evolutionary approach. People are governed by instincts, some of those of animals. The innate patterns of behavior that exist both in people and in animals would be your instincts. And or other thoughts on this, or we just watched.
What I was gonna say for one of the questions. Well, the ninth one,
So,
what's important at work, intrinsic or extrinsic motivation? And I said intrinsic because if you get people to care for themselves about it instead of giving them something that they'll get tired of.
Yeah.
Like, there's more longevity to that.
Yeah.
Because then it's, like they said, then you're leaving it up to them to basically get it done because they care about it.
yeah. You have ownership and it's fun. Pay does matter less, right? Type in motivation.
Motivation.
Type in the word motivation, it should come right up. Wrong with the worksheet. I can give you the exact title if you don't see it, but motivation should get you there.
There's two more.
I think they're the same. I think I uploaded it twice. If it doesn't look like this, I'll get you a real specific name. Just tell me.
Okay.
So, just talk to me if I need to go back. Do you agree or disagree with drive reduction theory, and why or why not, based on motivation? Based on what we have here, does that make sense? When you say tension and arousal is like your brain being stimulated and dealing with the stimulus. Because we can think about, who are my salespeople? We got a couple salespeople in here, right? You're one of them, right? Yeah. No. Think about sales goals. Are they realistic or unrealistic? What is the perfect level of motivation? If the bar is too low and you trip over it, you get bored, right? If it's too high, you're like, fuck it, I'm going home. Right? That's true. We're talking about motivation. What?
I said, but if you need to eat.
But if you need to eat, you grind. But that's also motivation because that's this right here. That's an excellent way to tie it back in. It needs anything that you need for survival. Like there's primary and secondary needs. Primary is like our food and water or hydration. Secondary needs are like money
Or a phone.
or a phone. Secondary need. We're the only species on the planet that works. Did you have something? Are you thinking about it, Jose? Or Zeus?
It's just how, it's like you said.
Yeah.
Cause like when you hit your sales goal, it's just like, oh, I'm already good, you know, like I
Yeah.
don't really, I need to relax for the month, you know. It's not until you get another goal, but they tell you, but when it's too high, you're like, oh, it's pretty hard.
You're absolutely on something. It's just because I remember I was working somewhere and I had hit the goal for the 6 months and I had 2 weeks and they were rating us on both retention and recruitment. And if I did more recruitment, I could lose retention. So I got completely complacent. I was venting to a coworker, where I thought was a safe space, like in the bathroom. They were washing their hands. And I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna coast. My director was in one of the stalls and heard me. I got blacklisted for like 6 months. I had to be like, can I please have a fresh start? But it's exactly what you said. I felt complacent because I was like, I hit the goal. Like, what's the point? Like, I wanted to keep my income because it's not illegal, but it's messed up. Their pay would go like this. And they wouldn't always tell you. What was that? Or are you just taking that in? No, I could read your lip. I wasn't sure if you said something. Yeah. Yeah. No. Oh, okay. So, like they wouldn't always tell you. Then, like you'd be super motivated. You're like, I had to pay a mortgage. Like, why did you just change my pay on me? Yeah.
Well, I didn't get my pay changed, but the doctor that I worked for, she made me, or she took days from me because of that another doctor that I was working with, like wasn't there. He went on vacation. And she was like I saw that I wasn't on the schedule
Yeah.
for like 3 days for 2 of the weeks. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh no. I said, I gotta pay for school. So I went and talked to her and I was like, hey, like I don't have financial aid, like I'm paying for school. I said, this is not gonna work for me. She's like, oh, well, next time you need to coordinate with the doctor that you work with. And I was like, well, then it looks like I'm gonna have to go look for hours somewhere else. An hour later, she sent me like 3 days like to come and work because I told her I was gonna go look for hours somewhere else.
Yeah, that supports this completely. Yeah.
And I got my hours.
Yeah. So we have that so far? Yes, no, okay. So primary, secondary drives, primary drives. Things like hunger, thirst, acquired drives. Money, social approval. Homeostasis is how you're trying to maintain a steady state. And please speak to me on the pace of the slides. If I need to go back, just talk to me. I will. It's no problem. Any other examples of primary or secondary drives based on the definition you see here that you can think of besides what's on the slide?
Being hot or cold.
Oh, for like your comfort level? Primary?
Well, obviously, like if it's too cold or too hot, then you're not gonna survive, so you gotta.
Adjust it. Yeah.
Primary,
Yeah.
I guess. So if you're out in the freezing cold, you wanna find somewhere warm, or if you're really in a really hot, or in a hot car.
Yeah.
And you wanna get out,
Yeah.
because you might die.
Yeah, that makes sense. You ask me, Jesus?
No, it's like, that as well, temperature could be survival.
Yeah, survival, yeah, temperature.
Like you're selling more than the next person, or like better than this?
That'd be the secondary.
Oh, that'd be secondary. I literally found the best guy at the company when I used to work in that scenario. And they had like this thing on their team, like a football. I'm like, I'm gonna beat you this week. I'm gonna beat you this week. And he was like, all right, bring it. But he's like super down to earth. Like
He didn't care.
he didn't care. And I did. I beat him once. And it felt really great to beat him because he was the best in the company. I didn't beat him every single week, or I would have been the best in the company, but I did beat him one week. He got like 2, I got like 7. I was like, hey, what's up? But I also asked him for like, what I asked him for his sales script. So can I have your script? And then I can memorize it. Yeah. Then eventually I threw it away because then it was like imprinted in the memory. So what do you got?
Other plans that would be things like companionship, social needs.
Yeah.
Just straight up comfort.
Yeah.
This goes with the being too hot, being too cold, being too wet, being too dry.
Yeah.
Shelter.
Shelter, nice furniture. I'm just saying like stuff. You were gonna ask something a second ago or no? Is that out of the corner of my eye? Did I get that wrong?
Something from before, like
Oh.
that you said, when you were talking about being competitive, but I forgot.
Well, we like the challenge, right? You don't like the challenge? I had to call Puerto Rico randomly because I was the only person that speaks Spanish fluently at my day job. It wasn't even in my department like last week, but I did get a bit of a thrill out of calling Puerto Rico and talking to them in Spanish and getting the form and the thing that we needed. Which was weird. He's like, so you did that request over email?
Was it like a student or something?
It was transcript request. It was transcript for a student, but in Puerto Rico, and we needed an official transcript. He said, we have to email us. I'm like, well, you want that in English or Spanish? He's like, well, these people with languages. This is all in Spanish. But they only answer the phone in Spanish. So I had to help the admissions advisor, and then they didn't send it, so I had to call the next day. But the challenge, I like the challenge of the thing of helping out. It's not what I was hired to do at all, but the only one that I had to put bilingual in Spanish in my resume. So of course they
Use you to their advantage.
manage, yeah. But I wrote it down. I'm gonna ask for more money next year. I'll be like, hey, that's not even in my role.
Yeah.
So. They also gave us corporate training this last week as a task. I'm like, that's not in my role either. So I'm looking at what corporate trainer makes. And the next year I'll be like, right here, Department of Labor, will come up on the salary.
If you got me doing this now, I got the training for it. Now I get the money for it.
And now I'm trying to find ways to get out of work. Like I got them to pay for a conference for training that's on Zoom, so I can just not go to work for like a day and a half. Something else that happens with homeostasis is when you feel hungry, your sugar in your blood has dropped. That is not diabetes. It's just your sugar levels being low. It happens to all of us. That's what actually causes the hunger. It goes below a certain level. Your blood sugar tells you basically to eat.
That's why sometimes if you wait too long, you feel like you're gonna pass out.
Yeah.
Also have it,
What?
also have it when it comes to hunger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just classic conditioning, you eat 3 times a day, around that time you should be hungry.
Yeah. And there's social and cultural and gender influences to food behavior. What's happening next month,
Thanksgiving.
which is literally a social prescription to overeat.
Yeah.
I mean, like social cultural, like if you don't overeat that day, people are like, what is wrong with you? And it's just a cultural thing, but it's an expectation with food.
Oh, we'd be sick if we ate like that every day now.
Yeah, we would. We would totally be sick. So that's homeostasis. Increased hunger, you eat, that's the glucose. Glucose raised, hunger diminished, don't eat, glucose lowered. That's how we all experience hunger. Which one or ones are you motivated by the most and why? All of them? Some of them? Does McClellan's theory of motivation resonate with you? Yes or no? Why or why not? Talk to me on the pace. If I'm moving too quickly, I will go back. I just need one person to say something.
I would probably say the first and third one, and then the second one, depends.
Yeah, honestly, the second one, like, that's the sort of person that you just don't.
The sort of person that what?
You just don't want a person that, you know. For the second one, you just don't want somebody like that.
This doesn't have to be a bad thing, in my opinion.
Say more. He
It was
says,
a great idea, could just be limited based off their 2 hands, and they could be a very powerful person that could have a lot of good things they wanna do. And they work through others as well.
That's kind of like a parent.
parent.
A parent is somebody that needs to have control or influence over the child.
Yeah.
That's kind of like that.
I'm with you on the first and third one. This middle one, I call this academic freedom in a class. If someone says I can't teach a certain way, I will get super pissed off real quick. It's my class. That's why I'm still angry with the narcissistic boss who was like, well, you can't do this. Well, why don't you teach the class? Okay.
Yeah.
I can too do that. Whose class is it? Still hitting learning objectives. But I hear what you're saying. Like this could be good. This could also be really bad. It depends. Like a narcissistic boss, like she is stuck on her credentials and how much power she has, and students hate her for it because she lists her credentials when they're like, hey, I didn't plagiarize or my paper. She's like, well, I have all these credentials. Like that's not how you respond. You walk through it, you examine the evidence. If you're accusing people of plagiarism, you don't.
To get her kicked out of it.
I'm hoping, I'm super hopeful. And the irony is everywhere else I work, like here where it's part-time, my leaders kick ass and they're amazing people. It's just, and even my boss's boss is awesome. I think she's starting to protect me, which is great.
Oh, the boss of the lady there?
Yeah, because she's like, we had a company meeting on Friday. I wasn't on her team. I was on a different team for the activity. She's going to push out leadership to all of them and not say I said something about sending her to training to be a better leader. So, but I would think and hope that eventually if enough students say like, hey, because they complain to me all the time. They're like, she's mean to us. I'm like, a little care, like sure, enforce the rules, but be kind. Give people kindness. Our sales, our sales guys, what about this one? Does this motivate you? The challenge of the goal, as long as it's realistic? Because you're like, I got this, right?
Meeting your personal goals. Both,
Both, yeah,
personal and work goals,
yeah,
both ways.
yeah.
I was gonna say, I think it's weird to get motivation from anybody else.
Then yourself, okay.
So somebody gives me a goal to strive towards, and it's like, that's a nice goal for you. You do that.
Yeah, it's better. When you're more intrinsically or self-motivated, you're probably gonna run with it better. Carol Dweck talked about internal versus external motivation. Anyone know the difference between internal locus of control, external locus of control? I can walk through it if you're not familiar.
Internally, only what? Like you're in control of.
Locus of control,
What?
locus of control. This is different.
Oh.
Like, I don't want to cut you off. You want to keep.
No,
give
no,
it-
no, I
give it-
was just
take a
gonna
shot.
say that it was be more so like what you're in control of, like your own actions, and you're not in control of the outside actions that are
Here's-
happening outside of you.
You're very close. You're definitely in the ballpark. You've not left the stadium, but you're not right quite at home plate yet.
Is it
It's not
control
right.
over
But-
your emotion?
Ish. Internal locus of control, you take accountability for what happens.
Mm.
External locus of control, it's fate. For example, you show up and you get an A on that test.
Mhm.
Internal locus of control, I studied sufficiently, I was ready, I did well. External locus of control, that professor made the test too easy.
Mm.
You fail the test, same difference. Internal locus of control, I did not study hard enough. External locus of control, that test was too hard.
A car accident.
Well, how would you view it?
I
It
mean-
could be internal or external, like, say I was drinking and driving, that would be internal, whereas external could be like someone else was drinking and driving.
And they hit me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, in that sense, situationally, usually internal's better because it fosters a lot of accountability between those two. Well, yeah.
They don't even know what's going on.
Sure, you came out of nowhere.
No, literally. Not funny, because it's a problem within itself, but.
My ex stepmom had problems. She broke her nose 3 separate times, crashed into a brick wall. They're like, we can't rebuild your nose if you have a problem again. What about this one? Stimulus motive, curiosity, arousal theory, theory of motivation. That speaks back to like the idea of like work tasks, sales goals, etc. Not too difficult, not too challenging, the right level that actually makes some sense. If your job's super boring, because the goals are very low and you can triple over them, you probably resign eventually. If it's so challenging that it's so super unrealistic, you might be like, all right, I've had enough.
The Russell theory, we were reading about where it was like people they perform best at medium levels of the world.
That's exactly it. That's like literally coming up in like the
I was
next couple of
gonna say,
slides. You literally, yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's the right level. Like you don't want to medium. Mediums kind of make sense. Not crazy, crazy challenging, but not so easy that you're like, I'm a monkey in a cubicle, right? Like you want something that has a nice blend of those two. It's supported by the Yerkes-Dodson law. I used to work at the sale, that's it. It was the admissions sales place I was telling you guys about. And they'd have these very unrealistic goals and they would yell at us about not hitting the metric. They told us that we were bad at our job. I worked somewhere else and I was a fucking rock star. They were just telling us we were bad. We were actually really, really skilled at our job. They were just keeping that from us to not pay us well, which was really messed up. I was hitting 3 to 7 a week. I went somewhere else, I had 3 to 12 more than one time. What was that?
It's super common, in fact.
Yeah.
They never fast enough, they never hit their quota.
Yeah.
You know, and furthermore, they try to pit them against each other.
Yeah.
So that way they don't unionize, they don't stand up for
Yeah.
themselves, they don't think that they're actually.
And forming a union is protected, by the way. Like if you reach out to a local union, don't tell anybody you work with. Wait till you get like a union card and they recognize you. That's retaliatory firing. There's state and federal laws that protect you across the entire country for forming a union. So you can squeeze back, just saying.
I say, but those places like to do that and hope you don't leave by keeping it, because then
Yeah.
once you do find that out, then they're like sick, because then they can tell everybody else in there, like, hey, like, this is not true, and then they'll lose everybody. but they try to keep you in that environment so that you're not able to see anything else besides that.
I recently heard a story about someone who was a firefighter, like an EMT, made a mistake at work, but had unionized close to that time, got fired for the mistake for performance, got an attorney, got a ton of money, got his job back. Because he was so close to when he started the union. There's a lot of, and I'm not advocating that. I'm just saying, like, you are so protected. Retaliatory firing is illegal. They have to have a reason, and they better prove it. And the burden of proof is on them. Since you brought up unionizing, like, but you're right. They're psychologically making you think, oh, I'm not going to do as good of a job. With the Yerkes-Dodson law, this is literally what you guys are reading about. The medium level of task makes sense. Is anybody in here a thrill seeker? Anyone go for, anyone like the adrenaline rush? So
Depends what it is.
depends on what the adrenaline rush is. Okay, let's talk about that a little bit.
It's like-
I did Six Flags this weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
It was amazing.
I was gonna say, it's different if you're gonna go and steal or something, that's a different kind of.
That's it, because that's morality, right?
Well, I just say that because there was a kid recently that's been coming in our building and he like went in our lunchroom and took a wallet out of a purse in our lunchroom and went to go and use it, yeah.
Yeah.
And so he literally kept coming in the building even after that. And then finally, I think it was like last week or the week before, we, my coworker told me that he came back in there and that they thought they saw him walking out again. Literally 2 seconds after that, I heard the police come by out of nowhere, and then, like, I was on lunch, so I had drove by where the police was and they had the kid there on the curb.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
So that's how I was bringing it up, because I also have, a video of him in like one of the other restaurants that are right there where he went and used the card.
Yeah.
I asked them for the video because he kept coming in our building. I was like, so now, like, we'll know who to report, like, if we see him. And so in the video, after he had the card that he took from our building, they had a little tip thing there and he was trying to put his hand in there too. Like, if he had an itch to like keep doing it, I'm just like, dude, do you not have like a bad adrenaline rush from that?
Yeah.
Because you should already be freaking out because you're coming to use this over here and then you're digging your hands in there, like, and you're on video now.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I brought that up.
No, that's a bad version of adrenaline.
Yeah.
Trying to get like Eddie Great America.
But
This,
people
yeah.
Get addicted to it either way,
Yeah.
whether it's good or bad, it doesn't matter, it's in a rush.
I love downhill skiing. Double, triple black diamonds. I've skied stay like age 3. As soon as I get to the top of the hill, because excitement and anxiety are identical physiologically. Get to the top of the hill, I'm like, holy shit. I am beyond my skill level. I'm like, no, I'm not. I've done this a whole bunch. And then I go down the hill and I don't fall. And I'm like, okay, I got this. But it's the same idea. It's like the adrenaline rush. Like, I was in Cancun, they're like, do you want to go scuba diving or do you want to do snorkeling? I'm like, clearly scuba diving, that's way more thrilling.
Yeah.
Like, what, dip my head in the water and look down at the fish, or like breathe underwater for like 20 minutes and swim along the coral reef? That sounds way more interesting for me. Like, you want to go up in the balloon, the thing where they the speedboat? Not that, the parasailing.
Oh.
I'm like, I could fall into the ocean from like 500, 300 feet or whatever. Yes, let's do that. Sign me up. That sounds awesome. Now, I can't get behind bungee jumping.
Dude.
I might do skydiving in the future, but bungee jumping, the yank at the end, that freaks me out.
Jumping fun, I won't lie. I loved it.
Yeah, I flew with parasailing 100 feet. Probably 260 pounds on the speed up the ground.
Oh. You said you want skydiving?
No, I want. We want.
I want to go skydiving really bad too. I think that would be really.
Skydiving has a failure rate of 0.01%.
A fatal.
You're telling me it's above 0.
0.01%. Marriage has a failure rate of 50. Just saying. Skydiving safer than marriage, just saying, statistically speaking. Sure, sure.
Feel that way.
It might feel that way.
Be alive.
Yeah.
Feel it. That's what's worse.
So that's just like a graph of that. If you guys are still writing, just talk to me. So that's sensation seeking. That's if we were to like look at that, if we wanted to measure that. What about incentive approaches? Theories that lead you into doing something.
They're kind of like, I dare you to do this. If you do it, then I'll give you this.
So what you said something else at the same time? Well, incentives, people that lure you to action, peer pressure, maybe the thrill, the dare,
Dare.
or maybe things were incentivized, like you were on the gold star system as a kid. You did X number of chores, you got a reward. Maybe you got money for grades, maybe X number of chores and gold stars. That would be like what we call a token economy.
Like if you clean your room the whole week,
Yeah.
then Brian will help you or something.
Yeah. Incentivizing it. Like a lot of times with the token economy. Might lead to going out to eat on Friday at a restaurant, maybe Chuck E. Cheese. You know, the mouse with psychological problems, stuff like that.
They reopened Chuck E. Cheese, but for adults.
I think they did. I'm still angry about the lack of taco pizza.
The lack of what?
Remember taco pizza? Anyone old enough to remember that? They pulled that. Yeah, they don't have it at Chuck E. Cheese anymore. Like that should be the law. They should have taco pizza always. Like pretty upset about it.
I have kids, so I plan on going now that I have.
Well, now it's
But
not
I
the
was a
same
kid.
anymore, so just kidding.
Me as a kid, like I was never allowed to go because my parents like didn't have enough money. Really, they just didn't take me. But like, still, I wish I could have gone though.
Well, now you can.
True.
Luigi? Pizza, there's something that's very, very
Oh,
similar.
see.
No, Luigi's, that one got shut down.
Oh, Luigi's,
The
yeah.
one on, what is it, Prairie?
That might be the one right now.
Yeah, no, they
Yeah, they
shut that one down like,
5 years ago.
yeah. Been some years.
You know what
already.
the 5R? Do you guys remember from the reading? What's the first thing?
Your knee?
It's the very first thing. What were we trying to do when the pandemic hit?
Survive.
Survival. According to Maslow, survival. Now you might be sleeping under a bridge, but you're surviving and you're eating. What's the next one? Well, there could be some psychological needs to this. Survival.
Is it the safety?
Safety and security. That'll go with shelter, yep. What comes after that? You guys do a great job with this every single week, and you always bring this to the class, and it's not your phone. Think about
Belonging.
sense of belonging, yeah. The learning community we have, sense of belonging. What's the next thing? It's related closely to self-confidence, but it's not self-esteem, yeah. Like feel like yourself.
Is the last one self-awareness?
Nope.
So,
Actually.
Do we have an example of that?
like, getting the job.
Doing the job you want, sure.
It's like pushing past maybe something that you've never done, like pushing past your peak once, maybe.
You should pass repeat.
Hitting a new goal that you never hit before.
Self-actualization is something people rarely make it to. Or a lot of people don't.
I don't think we saw this yet. This should take us right till time. Here, if you've seen this, talk to me. I don't think you saw this. This is self-actualization. And if you're moved, it just means you're a human being. And we'll call it a day with this. This is an example of self-actualization. We did not see this yet, right? It's not look familiar.
I don't think so.
It's the truth.
It's that like,
Wait. Did you see this or are you were telling us all? We did? We did. Okay. Then we did. Okay. Then we use it for something else. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
That's the bigger version, like where they added stuff. And that's literally what he was talking about. We can take off a few minutes early, guys. That's fine. We'll call it a day. Yeah. We'll come back to motivation and then we'll segue into some more stuff next week.
So after the pyramid.
Yep, after the pyramid. Don't forget to email the Rain Man worksheet and the questions, like email it tonight, guys.